Hello.
Why are we doing this live?
Are we doing
Yeah,
this live?
this
Oh.
is live.
Uh,
So everybody, this is my co-host for Live and Direct. This is Cynda Williams from the US in Chicago, right?
yes, that's where I'm
That's
from.
right. That's where you're at right now. What's it like in Chicago right now?
Actually, it's beautiful. Like a beautiful fall day in the 70s.
Yep.
And I'm enjoying that. I am enjoying that.
Awesome.
Live and Direct.
Our main theme tonight is going to be the dreaded Mo Betta Blues for you. Cynda was now. Were you technically the lead female in Mo Betta's Blues, or did you share that with Spike Lee's sister?
I would say that I shared it.
Okay.
Because Joie Lee's character was as important, if not more important, than Clark. It's just that song gave me more attention in a different way.
So you had the song, but also the two lead male characters fought over your character.
True. That's true. I don't know. I
Just say that. How long ago was? So that was 1990, was it?
Yeah, that we shot that.
1990. So was that your first acting gig?
Yes. Well, no, that wasn't my first acting gig. It was my first movie. I'd been, acting my whole life, and professionally for a while. I had been acting, not at that level, obviously. But I, did some commercial work. I did like regional theater work. I'd done off Broadway, one show. But it was my first movie, and it was unexpected because it never occurred to me to do movies until I did.
And the mistake I made, so how I know you is I approached you to do a podcast. I think it was 3 years ago, maybe.
All of them are awesome, but Giancarlo Esposito is the one for me that is like, because I'm an actor's actor. I just love really super talented character actors. And
during the pandemic, and now obviously when I watched Mo Betta Blues, it was I think 1992, and it was on terrestrial television, tucked away on BBC Two late night, and I actually videotaped it and watched it the following day, and the mistake I made when I interviewed you was I said, you're in amongst all these stars. You got Denzel, you got Wesley, you got Samuel L. Jackson, Charlie Murphy, this list of kind of, Giancarlo Esposito, Bill Nunn even. And you kind of said, well, they weren't really anyone when you did the film. So with that in mind, I get to ask you this question. Looking back at that cast that you're with, including yourself, did you sort of have a sense that everybody would just explode from there?
No.
Wow.
No. I don't know. I have good feelings about things, but that experience was so out of my wheelhouse. It was so out of my understanding. I didn't know how things worked at all in the movie world, and honestly, I don't think anyone ever knows that this is going to be a hit or not.
Yeah.
No one really knows, because sometimes it's about timing, sometimes it's about right place, right time, right. There's so many elements that are seemingly random. Hey, they're seemingly random. So it's hard to say when something is going to hit. Like I've read scripts before and I'm like, this is a phenomenal script. This is going to be awesome. And then the movie, once put together, was like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Or vice versa, read something that was kind of weak but really played well, and audiences really responded well. So you just never know.
So you really
You never know.
sort of
And that never occurred to me that movie would do so well, or that anybody in it would do so well. I just didn't have a clue.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you could. I dare say you couldn't put that cast together now. I mean, with the obvious, you know, sort of Bill Nunn and Robin Harris, you just would not find that film now, which is incredible. So I know you have been sort of uneasy with the whole, you know, I'm an icon, this is an iconic movie, you know, you must get so tired. I mean, you know, I know you're grateful and I know you're blessed, but you must get so tired with that label. Is that a thing, or is it?
The only reason why I'm grateful, like you said, and blessed by it. The only reason why is because it was my first. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was a long time ago. It was my first, and you every once in a while, some very fortunate people get into a position that they're able to get a lot of great work thrown their way. You know, but not everybody's that lucky. I've had some decent projects, but I haven't had a whole lot of this is gonna take me to another level kind of films. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I understand it. I understand it, that especially a certain niche of people, because I have a couple of other niches from different movies that I did that other people, like for instance, the movie I did, One False Move, there's a whole bunch of people that's their favorite movie.
Yeah.
And they've never even seen Mo Better Blues. Matter of fact, this man that I ended up like spending a lot of time with on his show, he had a show. He had never seen Mo Better. He had only seen One False Move. I was his favorite actress because of that movie.
Wow.
So you don't know. And then there's like the whole Relax, It's Just Sex, or Tales of the City Crew, which is LG, you know, the rainbow folks, everybody that's not heterosexual or actually friendly to all types of people. They love that, you know, and they've never seen Mo Better Blues, and they've never seen One False Move. So in certain circles, I stand out to people for different projects.
Yeah.
Some even love Caught Up. There's a lot of people that love that movie the most. A younger crowd, the only reason why they watch Mo Better is they were little kids and their parents forced them to.
I mean, it's not.
They were older for Caught Up, so you know. I'm thankful for it all, but I do wish that I had more for people to talk about beyond things I did 30-something years ago. And I look forward to. I still have an opportunity. I'm still doing my thing, and I'm hoping that what I can talk to people about are my own projects, some of the things that I'm producing that are things that I've written. So,
and I will say
that
once you get over the Mo Better hump with Cynda, she is genuinely like one of the most incredible people in the world. So super talented, but also you have this kind of intellectual integrity, which you don't find a lot, or you don't expect to find. For instance, having watched Mo Better Blues for like the 50th time, I was like, what Cynda Williams is up to, because you know, we don't over here, we don't often get a lot of your movies, or they're sort of tucked away on one of the sort of streaming channels. And I went, I've never thought to look you up on Instagram. And I sent you a message and I said, hey, just want to say, love your work, and I hope I get to interview you one day. And you literally messaged me back and went, all right, let's set it up. And I just think that's so, I mean, the fact that I was able to approach you like that. Right now, anybody watching, don't just be approaching Cynda and just throwing stuff at her. You know, behave yourself. But I just love your love of art out as well. And I don't think, you know, when you're sort of labeled with this kind of, you know, movie sticker, or, you know, people are calling you Clark, which is your character in the film, I don't think they really get the chance to know you. Do you feel like in sort of definitely the last few years you've been able to really, you know, push yourself more as I am Cynda Williams out there?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's going to be people that are going to see me for that character. It doesn't matter what I do, because, you know, it has some kind of emotional bond for them. You know, you know how you have certain music that you remember what you were doing when, and there's a lot of people that have an emotional connection to that movie, so that's going to always be. But it's nice that there are more people that know me more. You know what I'm saying? Know my character more, because I'm really not like the characters I've played, especially Clark.
Is the mark of a good actor.
What's that?
I said that's the mark of a good actor.
Yeah.
Live and direct.
When I was coming up, I always knew I wanted to be an actor, singer, writer, in the arts. But my purpose was not about just satisfying myself in this creative act. My purpose for me from youth has always been to serve in some way. And I've had a leaning in towards anything to do with psychology and spiritual growth, and, you know, all those different kind of things. And so the way social media has caught on has opened the door for me to share those kind of insights from that part of my background that most people wouldn't know. You know, you see me in a movie, you know, and I'm an actress, and that's it. But you don't know that I went to school and became a hypnotherapist and could practice. You know, could have you in for you know, stammering or afraid of heights or whatever, help you quit smoking and basic things, you know.
Just an amazing human. Right, Cynda, I'm just going to stop you there. And now, speaking of social media, we're going to do something. We're going to test the waters with this. We're going to let somebody into the conversation.
Okay.
So we've got somebody called, now, am I pronounced this right? Pajimmy Jam.
Oh, that's
James Patterson.
James.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Hey, good luck. Congratulations. How are you? I'm good. Congratulations on the show. Bazz, thanks for having Cynda on. She's really great, and everything you've been saying about her is absolutely true.
I'm not a stalker, by the way. I genuinely...
No.
But also, this is mine and Cynda's show. We're going to try to do this every week. So I know that it appears that I'm interviewing her now, but we kind of said we'll kick off and we're going to get Betta Blues out of the way. So there you go. So you mentioned in your comments before, James, that you liked one of is it one of your favourite films of Cynda's? Was not necessarily Betta, it's something else.
Well, that was the first movie that I saw her.
Oh,
we lost him.
We'll try and get him.
Oh, crap!
He was just about to say a bunch of good stuff about you as well.
Oh, that's
James, if you can try and join again, and we can hopefully get to finish your sentence. And also, anybody else listening, if you want to say hey to Cynda, want to ask her a question, want to ask me a question, I'm here too. Then you know, by all means, request it.
Live and direct.
I've always wanted to write books because I love to read books, but I just haven't had the time to do the amount of writing. Because really, in order to write spec, you need to have a lot of money in the bank. You know, to write a book while you're doing other things is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I did have a couple of years My ex gave me a couple of years to just be a mom and take care of my kid, and I also took that time to write a memoir. So I did write that, and shared bits and pieces from my life.
Yeah.
And that was a great experience. But now I'm actually moving more into book work. I'm actually doing co-writing something with someone right now, and it's kind of given me a great practice for my own novels, because that's ultimately, I have so many stories I want to tell in that format. I've also written a lot of screenplays, so hopefully some of those things will get done. But yeah, I
Have
as
any of
much as
your
I can
screenplays
be.
been
What's
picked up?
that?
Has any of your screen? Well, we've got James back now.
Okay.
James, you were
That's okay.
mid-sentence, and then we've just been looking at your forehead for the last.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mo Better Blues was the first movie that I did see her in, but I was gonna say she was also great in introducing Dorothy Dandridge. If anybody's ever seen that, was on HBO. I think she was in that with Halle Berry. That was a great movie also.
Thank you.
Live and direct.
If you could ask Cynda anything right now, what would it be?
Oh my god, I don't know, because we've been friends for about 17 years, so
Yeah. So
there's not really
I'm looking for
anything that I have
juice.
to
I'm looking for some juice.
Well, there's no juice. It's no juice. If it is juice, it's just between us.
Okay.
You like to say what stays in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, no, it's no juice. But she, like I said, she's always been very kind. And I remember, because we met years ago, like on MySpace. I mean, MySpace isn't even around anymore.
Yes, we're that
But
old.
yeah. But when I first sent her the request, at first I thought, okay, like maybe this is her, or maybe this is like somebody who has like a fan page for Cynda. So I sent her the request, and like maybe 2 or 3 days later, she accepted the request, and we just like been friends ever since.
Would you say that Cynda, and Cynda, I'm asking this to you as well, you kind of break down the I say stigma, the stereotype of celebrity in inverted commas. Is that something, I say do deliberately, is that something you're aware of? Do you just not buy into it? How have you been treated by being in the public eye, or being on people's TV screens?
I think that just like in real life, you really don't know who a person is until you get to know a person. It's the same with all of us, even those of us who've been seen more often than others, or are more recognizable. There are really kind, good, wonderful artists and entertainers, and there's real jerks that are not likable people, that are insecure and have mental health issues that need help. So that kind of like is with everybody. It's just that I know that entertainers that become famous, I know that sometimes it can push, the kind of attention that you get can push people into a very insecure place. Because it's hard to hide. Your life is, it becomes open for a lot of people. It's very hard to keep your life private, and no matter what you read about someone, you don't really know who someone is unless you're living their life. Anybody, you, me, anybody, nobody really truly knows. That's why when I deal with people, so often I have to really work on myself when it comes to, I don't know what this person is dealing with in life. I don't know why they're this way. So I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, if they're disrespectful, I just won't deal with them.
Yeah.
You know, if they're toxic, then I'll walk away. And I won't get my feelings hurt because it's not personal. It's not against me. It's just probably how they deal with anybody, you know, or dealing with life. So I would just say that give people a break.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about this this our union going on strike is a lot of people have come out and been very honest finally about how difficult our lifestyles are. We are barely surviving most of the time when it comes to financial, unless you've been smart financially with what you've done with your money, or if you've been fortunate enough to keep on working all the time.
Live and direct.
James,
Yeah.
do you have a TV on in your background?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, we can hear it. It's really.
Oh, okay. All right, hang on. I'll turn it down. Hold on.
Yeah, Bazz, I can say this. You know, I have been able to keep my heart from shattering because I take responsibility, I think, for wherever and whatever's happened to me or with me in this life. I can't be mad at other people for their choices that I've made. So at the same time, I can't be mad at myself either and walk around self-hating because of the lessons that I've had to learn to grow.
Sure.
So, but I'm gonna tell you, this last couple years has been the hardest for me when it comes to my staying in a higher vibration. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a hard couple of years with COVID. A lot of people had a lot of loss, including me. I lost many of my friends passed away. Both my parents passed away. A lot of family members passed away. I literally haven't done a movie in a couple of years. I literally did something for 30-something years, and then the last couple of years I didn't.
Is that the
I've
longest
done other
time?
things. I've done other very satisfying things.
Yeah.
But I have had some moments, and I'm in therapy now, where I've been hurt by personal relationships and business relationships that have made me feel cold, that have made me feel like I didn't know if I could trust anybody anymore. So I've been working on myself because I don't want to be that way. I don't want to walk around just barely connecting with people because of the hurt that I've experienced in the past. In a very recent past, a lot of it's like been major ascension time for me.
Yeah.
Because I've been getting my ass kicked, you know.
I mean, the strength there is sort of owning that you may need some guidance or you may need some help. I think it's strong, and I think you know, more and more, you know, the stigmas surrounding needing to figure stuff out or not wanting to drown in emotions. I think that is, you know, people are sort of owning it and going out and seeking help, and it's actually quite a strong thing to do. So, you know, all power to you. And I'm sorry that you live in a world where you feel you can't trust people. But I also get, you know, people as a whole, you know, they got their own agendas, you know, and that's not a great thing. And people take advantage of good people. You know.
It's getting to the point too of understanding that, you know, your vision is your vision, and not everybody is on board. And sometimes it takes coming together to realize that you should not be together. And that's personal relationships, business relationships. Sometimes you would never know that this person is awful, is somebody you don't want to work with unless you work with them, you know. And I had to find that out in a couple of circumstances. You know, I had to go and experience it. Even though I had some red flags, I just wanted to go on and experience it. And so it's really nobody's fault, because ultimately you choose who you deal with. You choose the circumstances you're in. Even if they seem unfair, you still made a choice to be there. So then if you chose to be there, what is it you're going to get from it? Because if you don't get anything from it, that's on you.
Absolutely.
I'd just like to give one little tidbit of advice. You know, this is just not just for Cynda, but it's just for everybody. And that is, if you look in the mirror and you like the person looking back at you, no matter what anybody else says or what anybody else does, you're the only person that it matters about. It's just you. So if you like yourself, and don't worry about what anybody else has to say about you.
It's the true term as well. Self-confidence itself. You know, it's looking after number one, and people are afraid to do that. And of course, you've got to look after yourself. You've got to believe in yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the first person and probably the last person that's going to do it. And you can't help others unless, you know, you yourself are strong. Which is, you know, what we're all trying to do in this life. So, Cynda, just to sort of spin on what you've just sort of let us into. So the negative aspects of, you know, working with people letting you down. In your time in the industry especially, who are the sort of darlings, to kind of UK phrase? Who are the real positive people that you've had the ability to work with?
Well, shoot, I've worked with a lot of people, but some that really stand out to me. Darren Scott directed Caught Up, and while I wasn't like a super fan of the movie in its final cut, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had on a movie. He was a great director, at least personally for me, with the actors. Bob Rafelson was, God rest his soul, a phenomenal director that I had a very short experience working with, but that short few days with him gave me a year's education on acting. Nima Barnett, I loved working with her on Spirit Lost, because I haven't worked with that many women. It was lovely working with her. She was great. Stephen Wolf was a producer on several movies that I've done. His movies, all of them, Relax It's Just Sex was the first of them that I did. Every movie was like a family, and every experience was memorable, and the productions were great. So I've had some great times. When it comes to actors, I've really learned a lot from quite a few. Giancarlo is definitely one of my favorites. I loved watching him work, and I got to do Betta with him and Fearless with him. Fearless was really amazing with he and Bill Nunn and Roger Guinevere Smith. I'm sorry.
Sorry, we're talking about, just for the benefit of everybody sort of watching, we're talking about Giancarlo Esposito, who is a phenomenal actor who was in Betta Blues and a short film called Fearless with Cynda. Many people would probably recognize him from sort of very, very mainstream roles. He was in Breaking Bad as I always forget the names, but he ran the chicken restaurant. And recently as well, he was in The Boys on Amazon Prime, and he's just got this. And that, now, I remember this conversation we had where we both kind of said, this guy is just amazing. And he has this really intense presence about him. What was he really like to work with? And why is he, one of your favorites?
Well, Giancarlo and I really connected, I think, because we were so much alike. We were very, very similar in our processes. And we just had a similar personality. He's a Taurus, and just, we cared about a lot of the same things, very detail oriented, very, very objective, and when dealing with people and people watching. So yeah, I learned a lot from him, and he was a really good friend for a while. We kind of fell out of touch like you do when life moves on, but he was someone that fed me as an actress and as a friend. He was a really amazing guy, and fun and funny. So
yeah,
that was a positive experience. I enjoyed working with Hallie too. I thought that we would be closer friends ultimately. I had hoped for that. But competition oftentimes comes in between people. And though she was no competition, obviously, for me, she was way above me when it comes to the work. There were people that did not want she and I to have a relationship because of the competition aspect of it. So that bummed me out, but I enjoyed working with her.
See, I feel that you could have played her role in Jungle Fever. Even though she totally smashed it, I think in terms of, and I think you both would have or would bring out different aspects of the character that she played.
Yeah, we have totally different processes.
Yeah.
She and I work in very different ways. I think she was phenomenal in that movie and has been in others. She did a great job on Dorothy Dandridge as a producer, as well as playing Dorothy herself. But she's also a good person. She's a nice person. I mean, don't piss her off. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But
I get the feeling.
But she's kind. She's a kind person, and very. Her imagination is amazing, and she's great at putting together great productions. So I'm very proud of her success and the things that she's doing, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to work with her when I did.
Were you sort of trapped in a time where there could only be one of you, so there could only be, it was like it's either going to be Halle Berry or Cynda Williams, or it's either going to be Vanessa Williams or Cynda Williams. Was there a broad range of roles to go for, or was it just very narrow, especially in sort of mainstream as well? In that,
definitely narrow. I mean, things are obviously slowly but surely changing because there are so many different forms of programming, so many different ways you can work. The money has changed. It's gone down the tubes. So that part of the competition is stronger than it's ever been because there just aren't that many people that want to pay. And so, yeah, the pool of the opportunities were much smaller then. I mean, I auditioned against and with all of those women. We were all going for the same things.
Tisha Campbell.
Tisha was more in the comedic realm.
Yeah,
she was more in the
she's a comedic genius.
Yeah, although she's way more than that. But that's kind of like you said, they kind of keep you in a spot. There's not too many flavors in there. They kind of keep you she was in that part, her and Tashina and all those, there were those that were in that. And then there were those that were, that played the bigger movies and played the different kind of roles. Yeah, it was there wasn't a whole lot of opportunities, but independent film helped in that for me because there were a lot more independent films for a while. So Hallie wasn't trying for the stuff I was doing. She was doing other bigger things, and I don't think that means better. It just means bigger.
Yeah, I mean, you can never tell. I mean, you pick projects based on, instinct. It's never, you can have the biggest studio in the world say, here, have this role. It could be the biggest flop in the world. But, it is what it is. And I, for one, am grateful that I get to hang out with you as well. So, James,
yes.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
In the corner.
I'm gonna have to run because duty calls. I work at night, so I have to get ready and leave now. But
listen,
thanks for coming on, James. Appreciate you, man.
You're welcome. Same here, Cynda.
All right.
And like I said, I wish you all the best and good luck with the show. I'll probably try and tune in each week if you're on.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys take it easy. All right, thank you very much.
Next week is drunk week. Just so you know.
Okay.
We're just going to do the show drunk.
Take care. All right, bye-bye now.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Live and direct.
I see people have made comments, but I think I'm missing them.
Well, let's see.
I'm sorry, but thank you so much, whoever said that they really liked Harlem Blues. And then someone else said that they named one of their children.
After one of your characters.
She named her daughter after one of my characters. I wonder which one.
And just if you're still watching and you named your child, please can you request to join because we need to talk to you. And so that last comment from RHJ6290, which is a great name, by the way. I have a registration plate on my car which is similar. So, great naming convention, love it. Just wanted to say Harlem Blues is one of the most beautiful songs ever. Cynda, do you know how good that song is? Do you really appreciate how good that song is?
I know
musically,
I definitely can. I mean, I was there when they recorded it.
Yeah.
And it was literally the goosebumps were rising on my arms. The orchestra was just so phenomenal. And that was an experience that I will never forget because I had to go in and sing, give them a lead vocal so they could follow while they were playing it all as one orchestra together. And it was just, oh my God. So I definitely know how beautiful the song is. But when you've done something yourself, when you're the one that was a part of the process, well, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, it's just like, I was just thankful. I was just thankful that I was able to do it. And I cannot be super objective about myself.
No,
because if you ask me to, I could sit here and critique the heck out that song when it comes to my side of it.
I'm just as well. Sorry, Fred, if you're still watching, come and represent the UK and come and talk to Cynda. So I have a friend called Fred who we used to back in the day sing in like a band and make demos and stuff. And I believe he works with young kids. I think he's a youth minister. He also got the most amazing voice ever, and I'm kind of hoping he'll join if he's still there. But if not, Fred, I will clip this up and But yeah, so I listened to the song again today, and one of the things I love about Harlem Blues is that it doesn't seem to age.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't like...
Because it really was nothing like it. There was nothing like it, and there never has been anything like it. It was written by W.C. Handy, you know, back in the turn of the century.
Yeah.
The lyrics, and then Raymond Jones, totally underrated, phenomenal producer, put different music on it, and then just had all those phenomenal musicians. You know, it's those kind of circumstances don't always happen.
And obviously,
And
in the movie, you were miming to that, weren't you?
Say that again?
When you shot the scene in the movie, were you miming to your own backing track, or did you do it live?
Yeah. Well, I knew I knew that in order for it to read as me singing, I had to sing, because I had been watching people lip syncing for a while by then. And you could tell when people lip sync, because when you lip sync, you just move in your mouth, unless you know, nowadays people have actually learned how to do it so you can see, you know, so it really looks like you're singing. You got to really be singing. You got to really be using your air and your breath and your all of this needs to move in order to believe that you're singing. So I was actually singing every time we did a cut. I wasn't screaming, but I was singing right along with myself.
Yeah.
And I come from a choir background, so it was very easy for me to match myself when I was singing it up there. They didn't have a whole lot of work to fix, you know, if something was off or whatever, because I knew the song exactly as I'd sung it, and I would sing it the same way over and over again.
It's just incredible. And I remember you telling me that you actually, now I think you should release these, Cynda. You said you did some indie stuff.
Some music?
Yeah.
I've done a lot of stuff.
You should leak those demos.
Yeah, I have done some things. I've done quite a bit in other movies, but I've never done like a full project, like a 10 songs, 12 songs that had a cohesive thing happening. I've always wanted to do that, but it just hasn't happened yet, and I don't know if it will. I stopped stressing about it, and I figured if it's meant to be, it'll happen. So, because my voice is, I have a chameleon's voice. I can sing almost any style. So a lot of times people don't know producers don't know what to do with me vocally, because I don't sound like anybody else. So I don't know.
I mean, it's a case of building the music around you, I guess.
Yeah, I wish somebody would. I've met some producers that I think could have, but ultimately, if you don't have the money to pay them, they got to get paid for what they do.
Yeah.
So, you know, the studios will pay them.
Has anybody ever approached you to do like some EDM or like house music? Like, cause
you know, one time I have a friend, an acquaintance that a great person that had done quite a bit of house music, and she suggested that I should do a song with her, and I was very excited about doing a song with her, and so we started working on it, writing it, and then we went to this producer, a house producer that is very respected and well known. I didn't know him, but that's not saying anything, because house, it was a Chicago thing for the most part, and I wasn't in Chicago during the rise of house music. I love it now, especially since I'm here and I go dancing, and I could dance for hours with it, and I do, and I have, but this man, and I started singing some stuff, and he told me that it kind of goes along with my my showbiz sin thing yesterday. He told me I didn't sound black.
Oh,
Yeah, he said you have no soul. You do not sound black. And I was like, oh, what does that sound like? What does black sound like? I just
I would have been like, listen, let me just show you this scene in this very black movie that I did with like the blackest film director in the world, with like the blackest
yeah,
eye.
it ended up not happening because he didn't like my voice. Not everybody does. I don't use a lot of runs and do a lot of gymnastics vocally. I have a pure tone.
Yeah.
I have a trained voice. I was classically trained for 7 years, so I don't have the same sound as other people.
Yeah.
And he wasn't feeling it, so that was the end of my house.
Are you allowed to
My
say
house
who the producer
experience.
was? Are
Huh?
you allowed to say who the producer was?
No, I wouldn't say who the producer was. I don't even remember who the producer was.
Oh wow!
To be honest.
I'm just trying to think who.
Huh?
I'm trying to think because I obviously DJ, so I sometimes play a lot, like house.
Yeah,
music.
if I talk to you personally, you would
Okay.
probably figure it out.
That's cool. And also, really appreciating the comments. RHJ6290. We're not ignoring you.
Yeah, and I saw you said if you had a daughter, you would name the baby Clark. It's a good name. It is.
Oh, no, it's I've never met anybody called Clark, because it's one of those. I do often wonder where Spike Lee gets his character names from, because you've got in Do the Right Thing, you've got Mookie, you've got no, that was New Jack City. I was thinking of Bill Nunn, because he was obviously Radio Raheem, but in New Jack City, which wasn't Spike Lee, his character is called Da Man.
I don't know. I know that
Gator.
I always thought that his character names kind of sounded like instrument sounds to me for that movie.
Yeah.
They just felt like that. Like Clark for some reason just feels like a trumpet. Bleak trumpet.
Bleak.
Shadow.
Shadow.
That feels like a sax, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
To me, the tone of the instruments that they use, that they play, he kind of captured in their names.
Left Hand Lacy, Bottom Hammer. I know way too much about that movie, because I was thinking as well earlier. We were talking about sort of females in that era not having the greatest amount of opportunities. In Mo Better Blues, it's a very male-dominated film. Like I think I can even list the female speaking parts. So there was you as Clark. There was I always say Spike Lee's sister because I can't pronounce her name. As Indigo. Then there was obviously Bleak's mum. You're going to play the scales. There was the French lady who played Giancarlo's partner.
Who actually she was mixed.
Oh wow. Okay. And then there was the waitress who came over to your character and went, "Hey girl." That's it.
Yeah. And I didn't get to know anybody. I didn't get to know Joie at all, because primarily I was working with Denzel or with Wesley. That was it. So they were the only actors I was really around. I would come in and watch them shoot other things, though, especially when they were shooting in the club. I would come and watch that because I just wanted to see how the whole process was, because I'd never done a movie. I didn't know anything about it. So I would come and watch.
So this is more from a sort of geek fan trivia point of view. And I do keep swinging back to Mo Better when new people join, because that's what we said we were going to talk about. Have you ever bumped into any of the, I mean, apart from Bill Nunn and Giancarlo Esposito, who you worked with on Fearless, have you ever bumped into any of the cast and they're like, "Hey, Cynda"? Or have you just not seen any of them since the 90s?
The only person that I've seen and it wasn't like that recently. This was like 2014.
Yeah.
As I did a show. I did a show in Los Angeles, a play. And I was, after I did the show was doing very well. Audiences really enjoyed it. And there's this guy that came backstage, came up the stage and came backstage and freaked us out because nobody knew who he was, and the security wasn't stopping them. So we were all kind of freaked out, and he comes running up to me, and he looks like he's straight off the streets, okay? Hair everywhere. He just does not look healthy. And then all of a sudden he starts saying my name, and he gives me a hug, and I realize it's Denzel.
Wow.
Yeah, he was preparing. You know, he's a method actor. Yeah. So he was in the midst of shooting a Western
okay.
at the time. So he had this full bushy face of hair, and you know, but that was the last time I saw him. He came and saw my show, and that was really cool. That was really nice that he came and was very supportive. But it's funny because people ask me about him all the time, and I was like, I really didn't get to know Denzel. I got to know Bleak. I didn't get to know Denzel because when he does his work, he is the character. So that day back in 2014, when he came running in, I got to meet Denzel for the first time, and he was very funny and very cool.
That's awesome. Like, nobody thought to take a picture and get.
We were all so blown away. Nobody. First of all, nobody knew who he was, and then when they did, they were just so, oh, he's here. They all come running up and talking to him because it was a black cast for the most part, and everybody there, was floored by his presence. So it was nice.
That's great that he supported you like that as well. I mean, that's true, because you say you got to know Bleak, and Bleak, but by all means, he's a tit, isn't he? He's not very nice.
Nah.
If you think about it, he's very self-centered. He's obviously playing two women, he kind of probably didn't deserve the trumpet in the face, but but I've read that. I mean, I take what I read about people in the business with a pinch of salt, because a lot of it's made up, or it's sort of fluff. But one of the things I've consistently read about Denzel Washington is he is the character. You don't get to, if his character is aloof, then he is aloof.
Yeah,
you won't see him. And if he's a certain way, he's a certain way. As a sort of process, do you do that when you get into character? Are you in character until the role's done, or is it like, right, I'm going to take a break and be Cynda?
No, when they call cut, it's over. I don't. I've played some dark characters. If I did that, I would have been depressed and more sad than I already was. So no, I don't. I'm not a method actor. I can put it on and off as needed. I've only done one show that I had a hard time letting go the characters, and it was a musical. It wasn't even a regular musical. It was a musical review.
Yeah.
And the music was all extremely dark music, and sad. And I had a hard time letting the feelings of that show go. I couldn't wait till it was over. Even though it was a phenomenal show, people loved it, it was a hard show to do on me. I guess I was maybe a senior in college, and it was not an easy show to do because it was dealing with really hurtful truths about humanity. And so no, I don't hold on to my characters. I don't do method. Doesn't work for me.
Live and direct.
So, Cynda, my co-host for this new venture, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm excited to be back on.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your experiences as well. You know, the stuff we've talked about today, you must get it over and over and over again. And this is why I said let's do it in the first one, get some of it out of the way, and then we'll tackle some real ish from next week. Okay. Thank you for watching, commenting, partaking, and Cynda, I will see you next week.
All righty. Thank you all.
Okay. Take care. See, now I
Bye-bye.
don't know how to end this. Hold on. I'm going to try this X.
faceycreative.com